In this series of videos, I want to look at belief in today's world. And the first point I want to make is that we cannot definitively prove that there is a transcendent reality or God. Right? Remember that the transcendent reality or God is beyond ordinary common human perception, right? It's beyond the five senses. It's not something we can just point at and say, oh, look, do you see that tree there, right? So it is beyond, it is unknown through the basic five senses. So we can't prove it in the way that we would prove the existence of uh, what's called gross matter, or that which can be sensed by, perceived by the five senses. Right? I can't hand it to you and say, oh, don't you feel that in your hand? Now, at the same time, we cannot definitively prove that there is not a transcendent reality or God. And that's for the same reason. Right? Because the transcendent or God is beyond ordinary human perception. Right? So always avoid the word prove when it comes to talking about the existence of the transcendent or God, uh, because you can do neither. Right? Now, what we're going to look at then is some important points. Number one, it's not irrational or unscientific to believe in the existence of the transcendent or God. And I'm going to demonstrate that in this video series. Second of all, it is possible to know the transcendent exists through faith. And like we looked at, like I'll show you here, this faith is not a blind faith. But when we're talking about faith in the Catholic tradition, we mean belief in something we have a reason to believe in, but we can't definitively prove it. So this here is our definition of faith, right? So let's move on now to look at why people believe there is a transcendent reality or a God, and why people believe there is not a transcendent reality or a God. Right? These are both beliefs that people hold today. What's behind them? Well, let's look at some basic stances on the issue. Now, the first one is theism, and that is the belief that there is a transcendent reality, right, or God. Again, now, it's a belief. It's not something we can prove definitively. It's something that we know through faith, right? Something, faith, again, meaning something, a belief that we hold with reason, for a reason, but we can't definitively prove. Atheism, right, is the belief that there is not a transcendent reality of God. Now, again, this takes faith too, because no one can prove or disprove the existence of a transcendent reality. It's beyond ordinary human perception. So it doesn't go into the idea of a definitive proof the way that we talk about definitive proof for things that we can perceive with our senses. So again, this is a belief. This also is based on faith. That sounds funny, doesn't it? Right? We say atheists are people of faith. Yeah, they have a faith that there is no transcendent reality, which is something, it's a faith because they can never prove it. Now, they have their reasons, and we're going to look at some of those. And then the third stance here is agnosticism. And that's the view that the existence or non-existence of a transcendent reality is unknown or unknowable. And on the level of definitive proof, right, there is a kind of agnosticism that we have to accept, that we say, well, we can't prove it the way that we can prove the existence of gross matter, right? But we take our stance as in theism or atheism based on belief, right? And again, there's different types of belief. The belief that we're talking about, the belief that we're promoting, in the Catholic tradition is belief in something with evidence for it, right? This is faith. I put the thumbs up because this is a good, as we're talking about, a good term. This is something that we support and promote. Belief in something that we have reason or evidence to believe in, but we can't prove it definitively, right? And faith should be supported by reason. It should not be unreasonable. You're talking about faith that's not supported by reason or unreasonable. You're talking about something that we call blind faith. And that's belief in something without a reason to believe it. Or worse yet, belief in something that's contrary to reason or contrary to good evidence. This we condemn in the Catholic tradition. We don't believe that people should operate from blind faith because we believe that reason is a gift that God gave us to help us know the transcendent. People who engage in blind faith, we believe, are going against the part of their essential nature, part of what God gave us that makes us human. And that's the power of reason. It should be used to support the truth, support our pursuit of the truth, to support our faith. Faith should not exist contrary to reason.